What is up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. Hope you guys are having yourselves a great weekend. Wasn't really expecting to make this video. I was hoping to be making this tomorrow on Sunday, but that is not the case. Auburn fell to Tennessee, 70-65 in Nashville in the semifinal, or not semifinal, semifinal of the SEC tournament. And it definitely does suck, but because I picked Auburn to go all the way, win the SEC. I think I made a video on Wednesday talking about it. They beat Ole Miss last night in a game. I sort of the same thing, at least to me, sort of the same thing happened here. Just there's different aspects about it compared to what happened with the Ole Miss game last night, where the Ole Miss game last night felt like the supporting cast wasn't doing enough to assist Janai Broome. They did enough for Auburn to win, but I felt like they just wasn't. It just wasn't there. This game, same thing, but what really hurt Auburn in this game is the missed free throws. And that's what really hurt Auburn. And we'll get into the stats and all that stuff here in a second of the game. But I mean, it's like Auburn. Like I will give Auburn credit for coming back and making this as close as it was, given the opportunity to tie it up or even lead in some aspects. But the most disappointing thing is the free throws. And one of the things, like what everybody has talked about, is how Janai Broome, who is, contender, could be potentially the runaway lead for National Player of the Year. Doesn't get a lot of foul calls. In this game, he did. He went to the line 12 times, I think it was, and he only got 5. He went 5 of 12, I believe, at the free throw line, and that's not like Dylan went to the free throw line, which he's like 33% is what I think they saw. Denver went to the line. He was 7 of 8, I believe, but nobody else went to the free throw line. And it really felt like nobody else really stepped up. And then now guys made plays towards the end of the game, but nobody really stepped up, in my opinion. You've got Tahad and Chaney Johnson combined going 1 for 11 just for 3 points. And there were like Tahad in particular, there was just some shots that like didn't go down. Like toward the end of the game, he went to do a layup and the ball just didn't go in, and it just wasn't a night for him. Chaney Johnson, I'm not sure what's the deal with him. Like he has disappeared for a lot of the games these past couple of weeks, and like honestly, if your bench is not producing, because you already have Chris Moore, who doesn't really give you much offensively. You could probably throw Jaheim Hudson in there as well. They don't really give you much offensively. They're more for defensive purposes. It puts a lot more emphasis on your starters in particular to score points, because your bench may not really give you anything. On any given night, the Hod at least will give you 8, 9, maybe 10 points, maybe 11 points. Chaney, he's just giving you like 3 or 4 points the past couple of games. And it's not enough to propel Auburn really far. Like if Janai makes most of his free throws, if Chaney gives you at least maybe, let's say, 6 points, Tahad gives you 8 points, you clearly beat Tennessee. You just do. But on a day where offensively, you got guys not really stepping up. Nobody was really taking shots. It was the Janai Broome show for the good portion of it. And like even with him missing the free throws, I think he's still in the lead for National Player of the Year, obviously. But it's just disappointing in some aspects on how some of these guys didn't really step up when they needed to. Like Chad had 4 points through nearly the entire of the game until he hit a three late. And then he had opportunity like him. I think him, Denver, and Miles each had opportunities at the end of the game to hit a 3-pointer to tie it up, and it just misses. Most times they hit that. I think there was back-to-back 3-point shots that were like rammed in and out, and it was just tough to watch. And then like Tennessee's a very good defensive team, so I'm not taking anything away from them. I think there's a lot of things that bothers me sometimes with this Auburn team, and it's not just this Auburn team. It's probably been past Auburn teams that have done it as well. Is where if you know a team is in foul trouble, Tennessee was definitely in foul trouble. Like Ziegler, and there's another one. We can look here in a second, but there were like 3 or 4 players for Tennessee that were definitely in foul trouble. And if Auburn is just aggressive in trying to draw fouls, you potentially foul out at least 2, maybe 3 Tennessee players. And Tennessee already doesn't have that much of depth. So, and there was a moment where Ziegler went out, was his 3rd foul. And I said to myself, this is probably because they had another player. I think it was Milicic was the player. They both were sitting on the bench with three fouls each. And I said to myself, this is where Auburn needs to go and really, really push things and really, really take control of this game. Because again, you basically played into Tennessee's game. You won it the first time in Neville Arena. You didn't win it this time. You played into Tennessee's game, where Tennessee likes to just grind, not really grind things down, but they like to get easy points at the free throw line. Now they'll make shots. They'll make shots. But if you watch how they play, they kind of did this to Texas A&M. No, they did this to Texas last night, where they slowly wear you down, and to where like they'll get easy fouls called on them, go to the free throw line, just score points. I don't think Tennessee wore down Auburn in this game at all. I just think Auburn made so many mistakes that it just gave Tennessee enough room to win the game. Because both teams came out hot to start the game, and then it fell into the typical Tennessee type of game. Because for this game, I think Auburn needed to be high tempo, be fast with it. Tennessee slowed it down, and it's just I think the style of play would have been the same regardless if you would have played Texas A&M in this game or if you would have played Tennessee. But it's just it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I do give credit for them for fighting back and making this as close as it was, only losing by 5 points. But it's just still disappointing, and because you missed opportunities to really put this game away, even early in the game. But as far as like stats and stuff like that goes, so like Janai Broome gives you 23 points. Dylan Carwell gives you 7. He had an impressive steal and dunk. He went to the line. Chad Baker gave you 9, but again, the 5 points he had came relatively late in the game when you would have liked for them to show up a little bit sooner. Dylan or Miles and Denver each got about 10, 13 points. Again, felt like they if they could have done a little bit more in the first half, then maybe. But a lot of their points came in the second half. And then again, Chaney Johnson, Todd Pettiford didn't provide much. You know, it was what it was. But I mean, both teams percentage wise about almost the same. Both took a lot of threes. Auburn made one more 3 than Tennessee. Both almost about even in the percentage of free throws. And then, I mean, look, or 3-point shots taken. And then look at free throws. I mean, 25 of 27, 13 of 22. If Auburn makes at least 6, if Auburn makes at least, let's just say they win. Let's say Auburn makes at least 3. Let's see that would be 68. You'd be down by 2. Like if I guess if Auburn would have made probably 4 or 5, I think the magic number would have been 6. If Auburn would have made like 6 of their free throw shots, be more like 19 of 22, then Auburn could have won the game. Look at that, 92% from the free throw line, and that's what Tennessee does. Auburn was about 59%. Rebounds, Auburn got out rebounded again by Tennessee. Not by much, but it's still 25-18. Still, assists, Auburn won in that category. Steals, about even. Blocks, about even. Turnovers, Tennessee had 11. Auburn did relatively well keeping not turning the ball over. Fast break, 4 points in the paint, about even. Fouls, Auburn had 3 more fouls than Tennessee. And then largest lead was 12 compared to 5. And it's just, I mean, it does suck. It definitely does suck. So but I mean, now you're done. Like you got a week or so before you play again in the NCAA tournament. This is where your season starts here, plain and simple. Joe Lunardi, this was updated. It says 3:50 p.m., but it's only Eastern time. Joe Lunardi, before the game started, tweeted out saying that Auburn, I think he probably wrote it in here as well, but Auburn is regardless of what would have happened today, Auburn locked up the number 1 overall seed, which is not really surprised. There was never really a conversation or debate about it. They were going to be the number 1 overall seed. Their body of work just speaks so loudly compared to everybody else's. So now that means Auburn, let me see, last 4 byes. Oh, that's interesting. So Oklahoma, Arkansas, they're in, at least of right now, they're potentially in. Vanderbilt's potentially in. Okay. SEC could get like 12, 13, 14 teams in. That's impressive. But Auburn, you're number 1 overall seed. You're going to go to Lexington. You're going to go to Atlanta. So you don't necessarily have to really travel that far per se, especially with the Sweet 16 Elite 8. Right now, your first round matchup, you should be able to win. Round of 32 could be interesting, particularly if it's like Marquette. Baylor, again, there's still a lot of moving parts. A lot of teams are still playing their conference championships and things like that, so there could be some moving parts here or there. But you can get out of Lexington, make your way to Atlanta, then potentially play, who would it be here? Like, so let's see. Sweet 16. So potentially play Clemson or Iowa State. You're going to beat Iowa State, but potentially could play them again in Sweet 16. That would kind of suck. And I would hope if like Auburn has the more easy, they're the number 1 overall seed. They should have the easiest path to at least the Elite 8. But we all know how people are. They have their own agendas. But it is what it is. But Auburn potentially could play Clemson, Iowa State in the Sweet 16. The Elite 8, you could potentially play more. I would say more than likely Michigan State. And then Final 4 on this end, I think Florida, probably BYU, Texas Tech, Gonzaga, Texas Tech, probably Florida. Do I think Texas Tech and Florida? Probably Texas Tech, maybe just slightly. So you like, I still think Auburn still has a chance to get to the Elite Four, but they've got to clean some things up. Like rebounding, they didn't lose by much in this game, but rebounding is definitely one. Your bench players have got to play better. They have got to play better. Chaney Johnson, like he really needs to show up if Auburn wants to go all the way and win a national title. I think that's the main one. Todd Pettifer, I think this kind of game isn't really an issue. I don't think he'll shoot like this again in the NCAA tournament. But Chaney Johnson, you need him to show up, plain and simple. He needs to come out and at least provide 10 points. If both him and Tahad can provide at least 18, maybe 20 points coming from the bench, that should be good enough to win majority of these games in the NCAA tournament. You can't have them go 1-11 just for 3 points. You just can't do that. So we'll just have to see how things shake out for Selection Sunday. That is tomorrow. We'll definitely know for sure who Auburn is playing. I more than likely will go live actually for that. I believe right now that is the plan, is that like I'll do the first live stream here on the channel, just maybe not necessarily watching the bracketology, more just going over Auburn's portion of it, and we'll probably fill out a bracket as well. So we'll probably do that. But man, it sucks. It sucks. I was hoping Auburn would go all the way to win the SEC title, but there's still some things that they've got to clean up, plain and simple. And we'll just see how things go when they're, because I think they're number one overall seed, so I think they wouldn't play until Friday. So they should potentially have like another almost week off. So because Chad went down, he looked a little banged up. Dylan went down, he looked a little banged up. So again, you get this opportunity for everybody to kind of just rest up, reset, and their true season starts now. March Madness is right around the corner. They need to get locked in if they want to win a championship. But guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out the channel tomorrow. Like I said, I more than likely will be going live on the channel to just go over Auburn's bracket and stuff like that for the NCAA tournament. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. And I will see y'all in the next video. Y'all have a good one.